If you either purchased or are purchasing a home and you're wondering about the insurance piece, let's dive in and go over the discount parts of everything. How can you get some extra costs off? Insurance has been fairly uprising, so to speak, in the last probably year and a half. So let's go over what are the ways that you can save money on your home insurance just by having these additional pieces. For those of you that are new to buying a home, the first-time home buyer is actually a discount that some companies, it's kind of died off a little bit, but there are some companies that give what's called a first-time home buyer discount. So check with your agent to find out if that's going to get you some additional savings just for the fact that you're the first-time home purchaser. As we all know, credit plays a factor, and in insurance, it doesn't play a direct factor, so you can't just say my credit score is a 920 or 800 or 750 or whatever the case is and get that instant discount. There is a mix of what they do, but credit in general is playing a factor. So the better your credit is, the better that policy is going to be towards your home and your auto, either which way you go. That leads into possibly a 20% discount if you're looking at being claims free. So what happens is if you haven't had any claims, well, Mark, I'm buying a house, why would I have claims on the house? Well, there's two ways that insurance companies look at this. They look at your history. So if you've had renter's insurance, if you had a theft, or if you had a claim on your current renter's insurance, current homeowner's insurance, then that can carry over and follow you as the person because that claim can follow. Now, that's not all companies. Some companies say it's a new house, we're going to reset because that house is the risk that we're looking at. What's the odds of the fire happening, the claim happening, the water damage, things like that. And so they take that into evaluation. But there are a few companies that will take in the previous past. That's really where the agent comes into play, where they can help you advise which companies are going to be a good fit and which ones aren't based on that if you've had a claim. Now, that house could have had a claim before you purchased it. And that's actually a good way for you to find out when you're purchasing the home, because it'll go back usually about 5 years and it'll pull the history of that house having any claims. It's not always going to tell you, but 90% of the time from my experience, it will tell me exactly what's happened in the last 5 years. Oh my gosh, there's been a water claim. The piece that you should know is it doesn't always go against you. So you have the option. Once again, it depends on the company and the agent that they're putting you with, because not all companies count that against you. Some don't. Some only go back 3 years for ones that aren't yours. So there's a little bit of a variant that you have where you don't necessarily have to have that go against you, and you can get a discount for being claims free. We all know that bundling is the key, right? Everyone wants to bundle, and the more that prices change, the less that actually is valid. But in general, most of the time, bundling your home and your auto together will net you a bigger discount. Not as much on the home side of it. It's usually the auto side that sees the biggest impact. So if you're paying $200-300 a month for car insurance, you're going to get that 20 to 25% off. And on the home side, it's usually 5 to 15%. It can get higher, so some companies give a bigger discount, but it helps. Having the two together in general should net you about a 20+% off discount based on previous companies and previous history that we've seen. Going paperless should be a discount. It technically is. It's a discount on everything, but we're talking like $5 a month, sometimes $1 a month. So usually paperless is a benefit. Most people don't want paper copies anyways, but paperless can save you a little extra if you're just trying to shave off that little extra piece of the cost of the home insurance. You may not believe it, but seniors get a better deal. The age plays a factor. Once you hit 50 years and up, that's technically considered senior in the eyes of insurance. Almost every company gives some sort of a discount. Now, that doesn't mean if you're under 50, you're not going to have those options. You have other discounts. So there's different group memberships that you can get discounts through, that if you're not 50 or older, you can go that route. If you're 50 or older, probably the majority of the time you're going to find the cheapest rate or the biggest discount is just being 50 or older. You won the age lottery and you get a better deal for having that available. Now, if you're CPA and 50 or older, you only get one or the other, but usually the CPA or engineer, those type of occupations or degrees, they've somehow contracted with insurance companies, or they've been, in the eyes of insurance, the lower risk. The actual house itself can matter. So if you're in a gated community, there's a small discount or a lower risk for that. If you have a security system, that's going to help as well. There's a couple types. You have your standard alarm that the siren goes off and makes a loud noise. That's your local alarm system. If you have a central alarm system, that'll give you the biggest discount. And that's where it's like ADT or some sort of security that notifies somebody on a call center that's waiting to call the police, or it automatically notifies and it pops up on your phone and shows you. That's going to get you the biggest discount. Overall, that discount isn't a major piece, but it's beneficial. Just because theft isn't as big of an issue in home insurance, it's more water claims than anything, but because it does matter and it does play a factor, there's an additional discount that you can get. Materials of the home, depending on the location. So if you're in more of a risk of a weather area, more of your Florida, your Texas, you're near the coastal lines, having storm shutters, having specific roof styles, those hail resistant roofs, there's levels of those. So having those are going to get you a discount. If you're in our main state, which is Michigan, there's not a ton. Some people have the hail resistant roofs, but it's very few and far between. They just don't sell them or pitch them because we really don't have that much damage. We can buy a 50-year-old roof that we don't have to put a lot of maintenance into and don't have to pay that extra cost, just because we don't have the weather typically in the majority of our state. By the way, if you are looking for home insurance, I'll put a link in the description below. If you're not currently working with an independent agent, like we said, these companies can do different things. An independent agent has the ability to shop multiple companies at once. The nice part is it doesn't cost you anything. So having them do it, even if you purchased it, you're going to pay the same because that company will pay the agent what they would have taken. So essentially they're taking a piece of their cut, giving it to the agent, and now everybody wins. I'll put that link in the description below if you want to shop with a local agent. Otherwise, that kind of leads into one of the other discounts, which is having a new home, right? New home buyer or new home or both, those can get you more of a discount. And that's not really a discount. I guess they put it on there. They call them a new home discount. It's just because it's new. It's changed a little bit because some of the builders, not to put them down, have not built the best quality homes in the past. So they are still restrictive on essentially doing an inspection on the home and finding out a little bit more details. But if the home is in good shape, you're going to get that additional discount and keep the insurance at a lower premium. The next one is having that membership that we talked about. Like we already mentioned, you can be an alumni or a CPA and all those things. Those are the membership discounts. Having the right packaging matters. So in home insurance, there's a ton of a la carte options. You got this, do you want underground pipelines covered? Do you want water backup if water backs up into your house covered? Do you want another structure? Do you have a fence, a barn, a shed? All of these pieces, there's liability limits and there's just a ton. I'll link a video after this that goes into detail. But there's a lot of pieces to that. And sometimes when you go to the right company, packaging it into one package or one kit, sometimes you've got to add some pieces on or package it or whatever the case is. That's where that agent's going to play a huge difference. Is if you get the right agent and they're trustworthy, they're going to usually build a package for you that comes with those extra benefits. For example, my home policy upgraded the water backup an additional $5,000 for pretty much the same price because I would have bought it anyways, and it adds it in that package. So now I have, I think, 10 or 25,000 water backup on my home, but there's no extra cost, or there's a very minimal cost, because not only do I get that, I also get additional replacement cost. I get more liability, more this. If there's a fire in my garage and my car goes up, I pay one deductible. Like, there's all of these pieces that these packages offer that can not just get you a discount, but get you better pricing altogether. The biggest thing you have to remember is it's not always about getting the cheapest. I know we're talking about discounts and those are needed, but if you're cutting coverages, be very careful. I'd rather have you have a higher deductible and a lower price than cut your coverages. So let's determine what's the best fit for you. If you're confused or not quite sure on what coverages to get, I'll link our Home Insurance 101 video here that will go over that. Otherwise, if you want a similar video to this, but more for auto, I'll go ahead and put that video here as well. I'm Mark with Valor Insurance. We'll see you soon.